Welcome to Mastering Your Financial Life, hosted by Judy Heft, the founder and CEO of Judy Heft and Associates Financial and Lifestyle Concierge. This year, they're celebrating 26 years in business. In every episode, Judy interviews professionals who help others successfully manage their financial lives. You can find this show on YouTube, LinkedIn, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and more. Judy is the author of 2 books, How to Be Smart, Successful, and Organized with Your Money for a Better Today and Tomorrow, and her latest book, Mastering Your Financial Life Cycles, How to Successfully Manage Money in Every Decade of Life. You can read chapters of her books and catch prior episodes of this show at www.judithheft.com. Now here's the host of Mastering Your Financial Life, Judy Heft.
Hey everybody, welcome. I'm Judy Heft, Financial and Lifestyle Concierge with Judy Heft and Associates. And we're here today with Mastering Your Financial Life, our podcast. It's our 47th episode, so I'm really excited to introduce you to Joshua Goldberg. Joshua is the co-managing partner at Nath, Goldberg Meyer. And he's an intellectual property attorney with a chemical engineering background. So he works with a lot of agricultural type companies too. And he has a lot of great experience in patents and trademarks. And his tagline, I noticed, it was pretty interesting, is I help clients. I help clients let them live in their future. What was it again? Did I just butcher that?
Yeah, it's okay. You got pretty close. I help clients let people continue to live in the future.
There you go. I love that. That's great. So welcome, Joshua. Thanks for being here today.
Oh, thanks so much, Judy. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, no, it's great. So I think sometimes, people think the intellectual property world and the patent world is kind of like foreign. It's foreign language. We don't understand it. So, what happens if someone comes up with an invention? What's the value to patent it? And is it always inventions or innovations, or what kinds of things are they?
Well, those are great questions, and I could go on and on about this. So I'll just try to summarize it real quick before we bore everybody, including you. So there's a lot of value to protecting your innovation, your invention, whatever it is. The 3 main things I tell people are, number one, if you're looking to sell, you want to sell product at some point, you don't want any competition. Here we are in the U.S., we don't like competition. We're anti-monopolies and things like that. But we do have this patent system to give legal monopolies to protect innovation, to make sure we continue to innovate. So if you have a new innovative product, you want to keep that market to yourself rather than have somebody take it from you and really take the fruit of your labor, use your blood, sweat, and tears against you, where they could sell something for less than you can because they don't have the startup costs, the design costs, all of that. And what a patent does is it lets you stop them from doing that. And that's the biggest misconception I hear all the time. People think, oh, I don't have a patent, I can't do this. That's not what it means at all. What it means is when you get a patent, it lets you stop competition. It lets you stop others from doing what you're doing. So if you want to protect your investment, if you want to protect all the work you've done, that's the way to do it. You stop others. The 2 other things that I often tell people is, number one, if you're a startup company, for example, or a smaller company, and you're looking for funding, you're looking for a business partner, something like that, when you're talking to other people, almost the first question you're asked, if not the first question you're asked, is, what's your IP position? Because remember, I told you the patents help you stop others, stop competition. Nobody is going to want to fund you or get into business with you if they think it's too risky. And what's one of those risks? Having competitors out there. They don't want to buy into that issue if they can avoid it.
That's interesting, because I watch a lot of Shark Tank. And a lot of times they won't invest if someone doesn't have a patent, or, if they say patent pending, or if they think there's too many other people doing the same thing. It's pretty interesting. That gives another you gave a good explanation and a perspective on that too. Something I had obviously thought about because I don't think about patents, but it's interesting stuff. But
No, I'm glad you mentioned Shark Tank because so many people out there, that's their exposure to this world.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to tell you, I can't watch Shark Tank because I watched it one time. I saw the kind of deals that were being offered to the companies or the people that were there. And I'm like, don't take it. You're nuts. This is a horrible deal. And of course they take it, and I can't watch this. It gets my blood pressure up.
There you go. But you know what? Who knows if the deal went through after they ended the show too. So yeah, I get a kick out of some of those people there. So go ahead.
There was one other thing I wanted to mention because this is actually really important. This is where most of my clients generate their revenue from their patent stream, and that's licensing. So even if you can't make something yourself, you get a patent for it, you can sell or license that to somebody and get real value out of it. Think about IBM. Everybody knows IBM, one of the biggest companies in the world. Their main business strategy is not selling computers. In fact, they sold off that division to Lenovo a number of years ago. The way they make their money is by licensing all the technologies that they create.
Interesting. Something we don't think about as an average person. So say I have an invention and I come to you, or an innovation, and I come to you and I say, I need to get a patent. What do we do? How do we do first? How do you know there's nobody else out there that already had that same idea and went and got a patent too? And what happens if I don't check and they have a patent and I try to get the patent? So it's a little complicated.
That is the perfect question to ask, actually, because when anybody comes to me, I don't care if you're an individual, big company, small company, I always tell you I want to start with a patent search as the first step. Just to see, it's not a very detailed search like other things, but a very high level. Has anybody else out there done the same thing as you're doing or something very similar? Because the cost of doing that patent search, it's minimal dollar-wise. It takes generally about 2 to 3 weeks, so it's not a lot of time. And it can help keep you from going down a long road that takes a lot of time, a lot of money, when we could have told you right up front, don't bother, move on to the next idea.
That makes a lot of sense. And it's fair to people that you're not, bringing them down a rabbit hole and then they end up with nothing. So
it's very fair to people. And believe me, I've been in situations where a client says, no, don't do a search, just go ahead. And then we get into the process and we're 2 years down the road and they're not getting their patent and they come and blame me. And I look at them and I say, I told you what I wanted to do. You didn't listen to me. Guess what?
Well, I'm sure as an attorney, you put that in writing.
Of course. Every time.
Of course, absolutely. So okay. So then we do the search and nobody else is doing what I want to do. And then what happens?
So if nobody else is doing what you want to do, we go to the next stage, which is drafting the patent application, writing up your patent application. And generally what we look for is, depending on your invention, it's either drawings that show what your device looks like. It's either a good description of what you're doing, something that really tells us how you're different from somebody else and how to make and use whatever it is you've invented. Again, I spoke a little bit before about how a patent is a legal monopoly, right? And how we don't like them here in the US. So in return for this legal monopoly, which lasts for a certain period of time, 20 years from when you file your patent application, you have to actually describe to the public, to the world, this is how you actually practice my invention. So that once that patent ends, everybody else who wants to compete with you can, without having to redesign the wheel themselves. They can launch from day one. That's the trade-off. So I do have some clients who come to me and say, well, I have this invention. I don't really want to disclose it to the public, and I understand I need to do that if I patent something. And I tell them, well, the way to protect that is through a trade secret. If it's something that can be a trade secret, it's something that is not capable of being reverse engineered. It's something that you can reasonably keep under lock and key. and not have exposed to the public, things like that. So that's a viable option. The problem with that is once that secret is gone, it's gone. You can't put that genie back in the bottle.
Hmm. I think this is why you need an attorney that knows what he's doing instead of trying to do it yourself, because there's a lot of little ins and outs that us regular lay people have no experience with. So let's take a little break right now, Josh, and we'll come back and talk some more.
Sounds great.
Hey there. I just want to tell you a little bit about my new book that just came out called Mastering Your Financial Life Cycles. And here it is. It's how to successfully manage your money in every decade of life. I co-authored this with my CFO, Liz Levy. And together we created this manual that's going to help you through every stage of life. We talk about having a baby. We talk about young adulthood, pre-retirement, what to do when you're at that age of retirement. If you're contemplating divorce, do you need an estate plan? We cover all of these, each subject in a different chapter. And I really think that you're going to find this so helpful, because at the end of every chapter, we have checklists that you can look at and you can use, and they can be a guide for you. So this is a wonderful manual that we've created. It's available on Amazon. You can also find it on our website at judithheft.com/book. And we're here for you. If you need anything, reach out. I hope you enjoy the book. Here's another picture of it, just so you know what's going on. Here it is. And I'm really proud of it. It's my second book, and I'd love to have you read it and give me your feedback. Judy Heft, judithheft.com, financial and lifestyle concierge, celebrating 26 years in business. And over the years, I've learned so much. And what I've been trying to do is impart a little bit of this knowledge to you, so I can help all of you become as financially organized as I am. And hello, everybody. And we're back here with Josh Goldberg, patent and IP attorney. So, okay, so we did the search, nobody's doing it, or we filled out the application for the patent. And then what happens after how long does it take to get the information back or the answer? And then what? So what's the length of the typical process, or is there not a typical one? Are they all different?
Well, they are all somewhat different, but I can tell you, on average, from the time you would file your patent application to the time you're all the way through the process and hopefully have your patent, it's about 2 to 4 years. It's not a quick process. Yes, but I'm here to tell you it doesn't have to be that way. If you are willing to pay a little extra fee to the government, because as we all know, the government likes to collect its fees, you can get examined out of turn. That means that within 1 year of when you file, you'll know where you stand. It's not a guarantee you're going to get your patent, but it is a guarantee you'll know, do I get my patent or not within that 1 year time frame. I've gotten people patents in as short as 6 months, which previously was unheard of.
So what kind of fees are they? Are they exorbitant, or are they palatable? How's that?
So if you're a small entity, think, a small size company, 30, 50, 100 people, the fee is an extra $2,400. Mm-hmm. If you're a big company, you're talking twice that, $4,800. So if you have 1 or 2 patent applications, everyone I've talked with says, of course I want that. Why wouldn't I want that? If you're, a big Pfizer or IBM or Apple or someone like that, you're not going to do it every time because those fees add up quite quickly. Mm-hmm. But you might be interested for the extra important cases, things that you really want to get examined quickly.
That's all pretty interesting stuff. I didn't even know any of it, I guess. Well, because I don't pay attention to the IT world. But it's good to know, just in case they ever come up with something exciting. And
there you go. Absolutely.
This is great. And so, what happens? So do you, charge for your consultations, or do you have a free consultation?
We'll always have a free consultation. I'm happy to talk to anybody. No commitment, either in hiring me or paying me anything for that initial discussion. And I'll tell you point blank, I don't think there's anything here. I don't think it's worth us continuing the discussion, or maybe there is something you should consider, and let's move to the next step.
So how do you base your fees?
I do it A multitude of different ways. I can't tell you how many clients. I probably have a dozen different ways I bill people. The two most often would be agreeing to a flat fee ahead of time. This is how much the search will be. This is how much the patent application will be. And then there are those people who just want to pay me my hourly rate, whatever that is. And I'm very flexible. That's one of the advantages I have at working at a boutique law firm. I'm not at, a Skadden Arps or a Kirkland & Ellis or something like that, where it's mandated from on high, because let's face it, they're a big firm. They have to charge big firm rates.
Right.
That's not me.
Well, that's great. That's good to know. So how can our listeners and viewers find you?
The easiest way to find me always is by email, jgoldberg@nathlaw, NATHLAW.com, or you can call my office at 703-548-6284.
That's great. And I'm sure you're on LinkedIn.
Of course, I'm on LinkedIn, 100%.
All right, great. Well, thank you, Josh. This was really great. It was really interesting, especially for me. I feel like I really learned a lot about that process, which is kind of, maybe a little, you think, if you don't know anything about it, you think it's a little smoke and mirrors or something, but you explained it so that I think everybody could understand. So thank you.
Oh, absolutely. I'm happy to do so.
Great.
You've been listening to Mastering Your Financial Life, hosted by Judy Heft. Thank you for your positive reviews, comments, and sharing this show with others. You can read chapters of Judy's books and catch prior episodes of Mastering Your Financial Life at www.judithheft.com.